students, welcome to my lecture. Good afternoon, students. Welcome to my lecture. I'm going to revise second unit. In previous class, we have discussed three of the questions, right? Four questions. Okay, only three questions we have discussed. Remaining questions, let us discuss now. I'm revising unit 2. Let us see. See the first, next question. Explain the concept of polymorphism, dependency, aggregation with examples. Let us see it. Let us see it. 1 second. What is this? Okay. See here. First, you need to write polymorphism. Okay. First, you need to write what is meant by polymorphism. Definition, you need to write. What is polymorphism? Which one second. Definition. Write down the definition. See, poly means many. Morph means forms. That means many forms. Exhibiting many forms is called polymorphism. First, you have to write definition. And then you need to draw the diagram. And next you need to explain. Okay, you need to first explain with an example, simple example. Okay, before drawing this diagram, first what you need to do is, first you need to write the definition. Poly means many, morph means forms. Exhibiting things, exhibiting more than one form, it is called polymorphism. Here, take simple example. What is that example? For example, take a simple, you need to see, while writing, while explaining, you need to take at least 2 examples. Okay, before drawing this diagram, take simple example and then explain that one, and next you can draw the diagram and you can explain this. First you need to take just like person. Take a simple example, explain with a simple example. Take some person. Now this person, while he is in shopping mall, already you know all those things. Just listen. Just I'm revising it and I'm saying how to write the question. See, explain with a simple example. Take a person in shopping mall. Shopping mall. A person in shopping mall will be treated as customer. Okay, will be treated as customer. Next, a person in while traveling in a bus, he will be treated as passenger. Okay, while a person is in shopping mall, he will be treated as customer. While a person is traveling in the bus, he will be treated as a passenger. While a person is in college or a school, he will be treated as school or college. He will be treated as student, right? Student. So one person, he is exhibiting different behaviors. Same person, right? Same person is exhibiting different behavior. Person is acting like a customer. Person is acting like a passenger at different situations. A person is acting like a student. This is called polymorphism. Here you need to explain with a simple example. You can take an example of programming language also. Your wish. That is your wish. You can take a general example and you can explain it, or you can take an example from programming languages, just like see, just take an addition um, addition function, something like this. Okay, take an addition function and another addition function, just like adding two float numbers, float x comma float y. See here, same function, right? Some set of code. Okay, same function, right? What is this function is doing? Adding two integers. See here, adding two integers. Again there is another function overloading. See here, it is adding same function. What is that function is doing? It is adding, right? Both the functions are adding. Okay, addition function is adding something. What is that? Two integers. First function. Next function, what is it is doing? It is adding two float numbers. That means it is same function exhibiting different behavior. It is adding two numbers. Second function is adding three numbers. Nothing but function overloading. You can explain that. Okay, you can explain with a simple example like taking a person, or if you want to explain in programming language, you can explain compile time polymorphism, runtime polymorphism. Nothing but compile time polymorphism is a function overloading. You can explain. You can explain, right? Or you can explain runtime polymorphism like method overriding. Okay, you can explain. Your wish that you can explain in a programming language, taking an example from programming language, or you can explain a simple example by taking a person who will act as a customer in a shopping mall, who will act as a student in the school, who will act as a um, son in the house, in the home. Okay, your wish. Now, after explaining a simple example, now take this example. Okay, draw this diagram. What is this diagram? Here, display item. See here, you need to remember all these graphical notations. Rectangle means class. There will be uh, in first compartment you need to write the class name. Next compartment, see, in a simple way you can leave like this without writing attributes or without writing methods. Just one single compartment in a simple way of representing. No need a detailed specification here. Display item is a class. Circle, circle is a class. And triangle, triangle is a class. Rectangle, rectangle is a class. Now what is the relation between them? See here, see here, there is a line and then triangle. That means generalization, nothing but inheritance. Here, see here, this triangle symbol is pointing to display item. That means a display item is a super class because this is pointing to display item, right? What is that? This one, triangle. Okay, I hope you understood. This is a super class. You need to explain all these things. Super class. Next, here circle is a subclass. Here circle is exhibiting all the attributes, all the behavior of a display item. Okay, inheritance. Next, triangle is a subclass. While explaining this diagram, first you need to draw this diagram. In examination point of view, I am explaining and explain each and everything. Okay, subclass. Triangle is a subclass which acquires all the properties of display item. You need to write like this. And here triangle is a subclass. And you need to write like this. Triangle class exhibit, sorry, rectangle, right? Sorry. Rectangle class inherits all the properties and behavior of the display item. Okay. Next, solid triangle. Here, coming to solid triangle, sorry, rectangle, I'm so sorry. Solid rectangle. Coming to solid rectangle, here solid, see here, how you're saying solid rectangle is a subclass. See the symbol here, see, 1 second. Okay, now see here, see the symbol here, solid line and then triangle. Triangle means it is generalization. Remember this, these graphical representation you need to remember. Okay. Okay. Okay, see here. Now you need to explain here rectangle will be the super class. You need to explain all those things in detail. You need to explain in examination. Super class. And solid rectangle is a subclass. How you are saying? Because see here, this symbol. See, 1 second. See this. Sorry, triangle, right? See this triangle symbol. It is pointing to rectangle, right? That means rectangle is a superclass. After explaining like this, you need to explain this polymorphism. Let us see it. There is a draw method in display item. Now see, all this circle, triangle, rectangle, all these are inheriting, right, properties of display item. So now this circle class can access the draw method. It is visible, right? Because these are inheriting. This one also, draw method. Now same method, right? What is that method? Draw. Same method. What the same method is doing? It is drawing a circle. Same method in this class. In this class, what this method is doing, it is drawing a circle by given with you have to provide radius, right? Coordinates. You need to provide radius of the circle. Next, what is the symbol? Sorry, not symbol. What is this draw method is doing in this triangle class? What this method is doing, it is drawing a triangle, same method but exhibiting different behavior, drawing different shapes. Okay, here what input will be the sides, you need to give the sides coordinates. Next, coming to the rectangle, same function, what the same function is doing, it is drawing a rectangle by using, you need to give length and breadth. Okay, these are the coordinates. I hope you understood. This is polymorphism, same method exhibiting different behavior. Okay, here draw is drawing a circle. In triangle, here draw is drawing a triangle. Coming to rectangle, what this draw function is doing, it is drawing a rectangle by using some given coordinates. You need to provide the coordinates, right? I hope you understood. In this way, you need to explain. After drawing this diagram, each and everything you need to explain. I hope you understood. Next, not this, wait. Next one is, 1 second. Yes, dependency and aggregation. Already you know the aggregation, right? Already I have explained aggregation. What is aggregation? Part of relationship. Okay. Just in previous session we have seen that. Now let us see dependency. Here, what you need to understand is, first you need to write dependency. Okay, one class will one class will depend on another class. That means, see here, see the example. First you need to write the definition. Just write down this line, this statement. After that, what you need to do is, I will explain, wait. After that, first write down definition. After that, what you need to write is graphical representation. Graphical representation of dependency. How you will represent dependency? By dotted lines with arrowhead. Okay, see here, first you need to write definition. For each and every topic you need to write definition, and then you need to write graphical. If there is a graphical representation for dependency, there is a graphical representation, right? So what you need to do is, you need to draw that. What is that? Dotted lines and arrowhead. It is called dependency. Now you need to explain with at least 2 examples. You can write 3 examples or 4 examples, your wish, but you need to explain at least by taking 2 examples. Now see here. Here I took class client and provider is another class. Okay, don't draw like this. Draw a rectangle and then draw one compartment. Okay, now see here. Here you are using dependency, dotted lines, and then arrowhead. Now what is happening here is, client class is depending on provider class. Okay, you need to explain this. After drawing this diagram, you need to explain what you need to write. This client is a class and provider is a class. Write down like this: client is a class, provider is a class, and then explain in this way. Client class is using the provider, or client class is dependent on provider. That means, if any changes you have made to the provider, class, that will impact. 1 second, what is this? Okay, that will impact the client class, because it is dependent on provider class, right? If you are changing anything in provider class, it will impact the client class. There must be changes must be provided to the client class also, right? Because this client class is using provider class. Client class is depending on provider class. You need to write the stereotype here. Name, or what client class is doing, uses. It is using, client class is using provider. Okay, I hope you understood. Next, now write down another example. Draw the diagram. What is it? Server is a class. Database manager. Excuse me. Okay, now in this way you need to explain the classes are server and database manager. And next you need to explain like this: server is dependent on, or server uses database connection. Now here server is dependent on provider. The relationship between server and database manager is, one second, relation between server and database manager is a dependency. Okay, write down what is the relation also. Just point wise, don't write paragraph wise. You have to write point wise only. Okay, and write down the what is relationship. Write down what are the classes. You can write like this: classes, classes like this. What are the classes? Client. What are the classes? Provider. Relationship. Relationship. See, you need to know how to present it in examination, right? Okay, don't write paragraph wise. Just like class, colon. What are the classes? Client, provider. Relationship. What is the relationship? Dependency. Like this you can write. Okay, you need to know how to present neatly. Okay, now after writing class, relationship between the server and database manager, uh, you need to explain this. How you will explain? See here. To implement the operations of server, this server is dependent on database connection, because server need to implement the operations, right? Everything is stored in database only, right? Server will use, right? Okay, so if there is any changes made to this server, sorry, if any changes is made to database connection, database, then there will be impact to the server class, because it is using database connection manager. In this way you need to write, present neatly. You need to present neatly. Okay, I hope you understood. Next, let us see the next question. Next question, let us see the next question. Next question. List out list out meaningful metrics used to know a given class or object is well designed or not. See, how will you know the class and object you have designed is a is qual it is a good quality. Okay, how will you measure it? By using some metrics. You need to use some metrics. By using that metrics only, you will measure that class or object is a well designed. Okay, quality of a class and object. Let us see it. Quality of, one second. Let us see. Just wait for 1 second. Metrics. Okay. Yes. See here. See, in analysis phase, you have identified the classes, objects, relation between them, right? So after that, what you need to do is, whether you have designed, you have well designed. You need to know you have well designed the classes or classes. You have well designed the classes and objects. You need to know, right? If you want to measure it, what you need to do, you need to use some metrics. Using these metrics you can measure the quality of the classes, whether you have designed very well or not. Okay, by using these metrics only you will observe all those things. What are those metrics? Let us see. First one. First you need to write like this in analysis phase. See, while the question is asked like that, first you need to write what you will do. Okay, in analysis phase, what you will do when you will identify the classes. When you will identify the classes in analysis phase only, right? So first write down the analysis phase. Keep the heading like that, and then in analysis phase, the classes, objects, relation between the classes and objects are identified. Okay, later you will design the architecture. Before that you need to know whether you have designed quality, well you have designed well classes and objects. You need to know that. So just keep the heading like this: measuring the quality of abstraction. Okay, and list out. Don't write like this. First list out. Okay, list out the metrics. The metrics are, write down the metrics are, and then list out 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. Okay, coupling. First one is coupling. Next one is cohesion. List out first, list out, and then you can explain each and everything. Okay, you need to present well, right? Coupling, cohesion, sufficiency, completeness, and primitives. These are the some of the metrics which are used for measuring the quality of the classes, whether you have designed well or not. Now let us see coupling. Okay. Yes. First, keep the heading coupling. You need to write about the coupling. See, um, see here, low interclass coupling. Okay, interclass. Here you need to understand, just I'm explaining. Here you need to understand what is interclass communication, what is intra-class communication. Okay, students, anyone can answer my question? Just message in chat box, what is interclass communication and what is intra-class communication. See, these are technical terms. So without understanding this, you cannot understand, right? We cannot write, right? Students, anyone know the answer? Please message in chat box. What is interclass communication? What is intra-class communication? See, no one is responding. Already you know all those things, right? No one is responding. Okay. Students, you need to respond. See, I can't understand whether you are understanding or not. If you respond, I can understand that you can understand, you are understanding. Yes, someone is responding. Kavya. Intra means within components. Navya, within class intra, between classes inter. Yes, very good. Inter means across components. Very good, Navya, Kavya, and Sindhu. Inter means interaction of subcomponents. Intra means within components. Intra, yes, very good. Okay, very good. Only 3 members are responding. Remaining members are sleeping or what? See, if you're responding, I can understand whether you are able to understand or not. Okay. See here. First, you need to understand what is inter and what is intra communication. Just wait for 1 second. Mm. Okay. See here. Intra. Okay. Okay. See, intercommunication. Intercommunication means, see, you know that complex system is made up of different components, right? Right, large components, different components. Each components will have sub components, right? Now, intercommunication. Uh, in, 1 second. See, intercommunication means communication across the components. Okay, component 1, component 2. There will be many components. Intercommunication means communication between the components. Okay, you know that complex system is made up of different components, right? Intercommunication, you need to know this. Inter and intra. Inter means communication between across the components, between the components. Next, intra. Intra means, see, within the components, there will be sub components, right? If this component need to function, all the sub components must be interacted with each other, right? Here, intra communication means communication within the component, because within the component there will be many sub components. Okay, all these must be interacted with each other, right? So intra communication means communication within the components. Okay, I hope you understood. Now see here how coupling must be there. How coupling must be there? See, low interclass coupling, there must be very low interclass coupling. What is just now I have explained? Inter means across the components. There will be many components. See, component 1, component 2, component 3, so on. Across means communication between these components must be very low. Okay, see, if the code is overlapping or modules are tied together, that means if the code is overlapping, see, you cannot understand, right? You cannot understand the system. Okay, there must be separation of concerns, right? There must be low coupling between the components. Okay, here then within the component there will be many sub components, right? Here high coupling must be there. Remember that. Within low coupling must be there within across the with sorry, one second. See, low coupling, I'm so sorry. Intercommunication means communication between the components, right? There must be low coupling between the components, and there must be high coupling within the component. Within the component there will be many sub components. There must be high coupling within the component. Okay, I hope you understood. I'm sorry, it's confusing you. Okay, next, cohesion. See, cohesion means you must group in high intra-class coupling. Here you must group related classes. Unrelated classes you should not group. Okay, only related classes only you should group. Then only they can exhibit the behavior. Otherwise you will get some different behavior if you group unrelated classes also. Remember that you should group only related classes only. If you are grouping unrelated classes, then there will be some fractional behavior of the complex system. Remember that. This is very important. You need to group related classes only. Next, sufficiency. Meaningful and minimal interface. Meaningful. See, for example, just wait one second. Should be meaningful. Just wait for 1 second. I will explain with an example. Let us see. Okay, let us see it. See, there is a class stack. 1 second. Just wait. Class stack. See, you need to explain with an example. Okay, don't write like this theoretically. You have to write theoretically, but you need to explain with an example. Okay, now let us see. Class. I'm drawing a class. Class stack. STS stack. Okay, class name is stack. What are the attributes? Item. I'm taking array name item. Char array, right? Next, top int. Next, methods will be push, pop, is empty, top. Okay, these are the operations. See, while you are designing or while you are identifying these classes, it should be meaningful. For example, you have missed this. 1 second. Okay. Okay. Now see, you have missed is empty operation. You have missed it. Okay, you didn't identify that operation. What will happen? See, if you want to perform a pop operation, see, if you want to perform pop operation, first what will you do? You need to check whether stack is empty or not, right? So you need to explain all these things in examination. You need to take the classes. Okay. See, if you want to perform here, if you want to perform the pop operation, first what will you do? You need to check whether stack is empty, right? Okay, in empty stack you cannot delete any item, right? So if you want to check what the operation must be there, which operation must be there? Is empty. That operation must be there, right? See, without this operation, how can you perform the pop? You cannot perform the pop. That means you should not miss any function or any operation. Okay, it should be very meaningful. See, if there is no is empty, there is no meaning for operating the calling the pop operation, right? I hope you understood. Okay, students, I hope you understood. You need to write with an example. If is empty or is empty operation is missing, there is no meaning for calling. Sorry, for calling the pop operation. There is no meaning, right? Okay, without is empty operation, how pop operation will be performed? There is no meaning for that. So while identifying the operations and attributes, there must be meaningful. You must identify each and every. You should not miss the these operations, basic operation. You should not miss that. Okay, I hope you understood. Okay, let us see. 1 second. Mm, 1 second. I hope you understood what is meaningful. Okay, completeness. See, you need to capture while you are designing the abstraction. Everything must be captured. What is that everything? Every requirements must be captured. Meaning there must be, it must be meaningful. That means you must capture, or that abstraction must capture all the related, all the requirements. Okay, it must be very complete. You should not miss anything. I hope you understood. Next, primitive. Coming to primitive, again I need to explain stack. Okay, let us see. I will explain. Okay, primitives. See, you need to explain with an example. You need to draw. You can draw the class, or you can write like programming language, class, stack, all those things. Just like class, stack, you can write like this also. Okay, public, private, something like that. You can write like this also, or you can draw the class diagram. Your wish. See, now let us see. Again, I need to draw. Wait, I will draw it. Okay, take a class. I'm taking stack. Stack. Stack is a class. Students, is my voice is audible? Students, please message here. Message in the chat box. Here, madam is saying the class. Whether the voice is overlapping. Are you hearing that voice? That voice also? Is it okay? My voice is okay? Okay, here Joshna ma'am is saying the class. Okay. No voice is overlapping, right? My voice is clear. Clear? Students, is my voice is clear? Every time only 2 members will answer. Remaining members. Okay, okay. Thank you. Here another class is going on. That's why I'm asking. Okay, now let us see. What are the attributes? Yes, item, right? Item. This is an array name, okay? I took character array. Next, next top, integer, right? Int. Next, what are the operations? Push. Push, pop, is empty, top. Now see here. First, while identifying these operations, first what you need to do is you need to identify simple operation. Simple operation. For example, take push operation. See, first what you need to do is this must be primitive operation. First, you need to identify this push operation as primitive. That means this push operation must insert only one item, one element into stack. If this push operation is inserting only one element into the stack, then it is called primitive operation. First, you need to write primitive operation, or you need to implement these primitive operations. Later, you can implement more complex operation. Like complex means this push operation is inserting like 10 elements, 100 elements, so on. Okay. I hope you understood. First, you need to implement only primitive operation. After executing, see here, this must execute correctly, right? That means one element must be inserted into the stack. If that is executed, and later uh, you can make it to insert 10 or 100, so on. Okay, many elements. I hope you understood. Okay, pop also. Okay, you need to explain with an example. Take stack. or you can take you can represent graphically, or you can take class as programming language. Your wish. Each and every topic, for each and every topic you need to explain with an example only, and don't write paragraph wise, write point wise and explain each and every point. Okay, I hope you understood. Let us see next. Okay, this question is completed. Write the reason behind the difficulty of classification. Next question. Write the reason behind the difficulty of classification and discuss clearly about incremental and iterative nature of the classification. Again, see here, you need to write what is the reason behind the difficulty of classification, why the classification is very difficult, and you need to explain the incremental and iterative nature of classification. Let us see it. Let us see. Okay. Okay, okay. See, first, what you need to write is you need to first of all you need to write definition. What is classification? Arranging the elements, right? Sorry, arranging the classes based on some property. See the cartoon. This cartoon is taken from your textbook. You need to draw all these diagrams. Just write down the definition. By seeing the picture, you can understand, right? All the lions are grouped. All the snakes are grouped. All the giraffes. All these are grouped. And this you cannot group this, right? Just like this. Okay, I hope you understood. Classification is nothing but arranging the classes based on some property or based on commonality. It is called classification. Okay. After writing the definition, what you need to do? You need to explain it. How to explain it? Let us see that each and every point. Importance of classification. Actually, this classification is not that much easy. Okay. This is not that much easy. It is really hard. Let us see importance of classification. Here, intelligent. What is the advantages of this classification? Because you can identify generalization is nothing but inheritance, generalization and specialization, inheritance. Okay, superclass is called generalization abstraction, and subclass is called specialized abstraction. And you can identify all the aggregation relationships. All these relationships are very important, right? You can make decisions about modularization. Sorry. Okay, modularization. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, see here, importance of class. First you need to write what is classification definition, and then you need to write importance of classification, and write down. This classification is not at all easy. It's really very hard because uh, 1 second. You need to explain with why. You need to explain with what is this? 1 second. Okay, just wait. Why it's so difficult? Take a problem and explain a simple problem. Okay, explain a simple problem and justify with it with complex systems. Okay, it is really hard to classify the classes of a complex system. You can classify this problem, right? You can easily classify these trains into groups, but when coming to the complex system, it's really hard. Why it is hard? Take this problem, simple problem. Take this simple problem. See, no need to remember all these. According to the requirements, draw the diagram. If you want, you can draw the diagram, or you can take another examples also. That is your wish. But I took this example from your textbook. This is given in your textbook. That's why I have taken this problem. No need to remember all these things. According to that requirements, draw the trains. That is your wish. I took this from your textbook. Okay, that's your wish, but you need to explain. You need to show a problem, right? So I took this problem. If you want, you can explain this problem, or you can take another problem. That is your wish. Now see here, coming to incremental and iterative nature of the classification. See here, this classification, how you are doing is incremental and iterative nature. That means while doing intelligent classification, uh, you will classify the classes, right? After classifying the classes, or after identifying the relation between the classes, it's not over. Okay, your job is not at all over, completed. You will think you have analyzing phase is completed. Now you have to go to the design phase. No, it's not at all over, or it is not at all finished. Okay, again you need to revise the class structure. While revising the class structure, you may identify that, or you may split the classes into two or more classes, or you may merge the classes, or one class subclass may be promoted to the higher level, or maybe moved to the higher levels. Okay, subclass may be moved, or okay, it may be moved to the higher levels. That means it is called class promotion. When a subclass is moved to the higher level, it is called a class promotion. When this will happen? When you revise the class structure only. Remember that after identifying the class structures, your job is not at all completed. Don't move to the design phase. Again, you need to revise what you have developed, sorry, what you have designed, or what you have structured. You need to revise all these things. All the model, you need to revise it. Okay, don't go to implementation phase. After completing, you need to revise each and everything. You may invent some new classes also, or some new classes may be, or some classes may be splitted, or some classes may be merged. Okay, this is called incremental and iterative nature. And while this classification, there is no proper solution for this. One member, it is this classification of sorry, one second. This classification depends upon the experience. Okay, knowledge also. See this diagram or this cartoon. See the cartoon, all these members are seeing this picture, but how they are imagining differently, right? Different objects. See, one member is imagining like a dog, another member is imagining like a cup, something, a jug, like that. Another member is imagining like a person, another member is imagining like a frog. Okay, that means it depends upon the perspective of the user. Okay, there is no correct solution for that. Okay, I may classify differently, you may classify differently, your friends may classify differently. Okay, it depends upon the users sorry, not users, developer perspective. Okay, see this cartoon, you will understand this is taken from your textbook. No need to draw all those things, you can explain. See, you can explain this cartoon with theoretically, no need to draw all those things. But but all the students, I request all the students to at least explain with two examples. You can write this diagram theoretically, don't draw this one. You can explain this cartoon also, just you can explain theoretically. If you want, you can explain, but you need to explain with at least two examples. Okay, I hope you understood what is incremental, why you need to do incremental and iterative nature. You need to revise, right? Your job is not completed after you have designed the class structure. You should not directly move to the implementation phase, or directly move to the design phase. You need to revise the class structure which you have designed, or which you have identified. I hope you have understood. Students, is it clear? Is my explanation is okay for you? Are you able to understand? Students, I need responses. Is my explanation is okay? Are you able to understand? Please message me. See, this is very easy. Okay, this is very easy. First, you need to understand. If you understand, you can write in your own way, but present neatly. You need to know how to present point wise, and explain each and every point theoretical. Sorry, in two or three lines. And you need to take at least two examples. You can take technically, or you can take like this. See, I have explained with a cartoon, right? No need to draw this one. Explain theoretically, or you can explain technically also. That is your wish. Okay, uh, okay, students. Now let us see next question. Next question, let us see it. Yes, see, next question. Solve classification problem by applying three general approaches used in classification. Solve a classification problem. You need to take the problem that is your wish. Here I took train problem. If you are unable to draw the trains, see, draw the trains according to the requirements. No need to remember all those shapes. Just remember, according to the requirements, draw the diagram. If you are unable to remember all those things, take another problem that is your wish. Solve a classification problem by applying three general approaches used in classification. Let us see it. Identifying classes. Okay, let us see it. See, these are the general approaches, general classification approaches. First one is classical categorization. Here, you are going to group the classes based on some common. Where is that? Yes, here. Okay, based on some properties, presence or absence of the property. Okay, see here. First one, first classification approach. These are general approaches. Classical categorization. Here what you are going to do, here you are going to classify the classes or group the classes based on some property. See, first you need to list out, right? Don't write like this. So what you are seeing in PPT, first you need to list out one, classical categorization, two, conceptual clustering, three, first list out prototypal theory, and then again write down, keep the heading classical categorization and then explain. First you need to list out everything. Okay, now next, conceptual clustering. Conceptual clustering is nothing but, here you are grouping the classes based on some knowledge or based on some concept. Okay, you are grouping some related classes based on some concept or knowledge. Coming to classical categorization, you are grouping the classes based on some properties. Prototypal theory. See, when this prototypal theory is used, when you are unable to classify the classes based on some property or based on some concept, when you are unable to do it, at that time you will go to the prototypal theory. Okay, students, today you need to submit quiz 2 for unit 2. Okay, time is 4:30 to 5:30. Again I am repeating, all the students, I request all the students to submit unit 2 quiz. Okay, you need to submit it. Time is 4:30 to 5:30. Okay, now let us see classical categorization. See, if you are unable to draw this diagram, you can take another example. See the textbook, or you can see in internet. Your wish. See, coming to classical categorization. What is classical categorization? You are grouping the classes based on some property. Here, see how I have grouped. I have grouped into three groups. By using, see, I took the property called black and white wheels. Here I am grouping the trains. This is a train problem. Each train is labeled with A, B, C, D, so on. Okay, now see here. Now here I took the property called black and white wheels. Here I have grouped like this. All the trains having black wheels, all the trains having white wheels, all the trains having black and white wheels. I have grouped like this. I hope you understood. Now, next classification. You can classify many ways. Okay, there is no correct solution in this way. Only 4 ways only you can classify, or only 5 ways only you can classify. There is no proper answer for this. You can classify in many ways. Now, see, second way, creating 3 groups having bogies. See, what is the property I took? Bogies. Having 2 bogies, grouping the trains having 2 bogies, grouping the train having 3 bogies, grouping the train having 4 bogies. I hope you understood. See, according to this requirements, draw the diagram. No need to draw exactly. Okay, according to that requirements, draw the diagram. Train diagram. If you don't like this diagram, if you don't like this, you can take on some other technical example. That is your wish. Up to you. Now see here. What is the disadvantage of this classification? It becomes very messy. It is not at all satisfactory one. For example, here, see, some birds can't fly, right? You know that birds will fly. Okay, see, there is a category like birds. You are grouping all the classes like penguins. You are grouping penguins to the category birds. You know that penguin is a bird, ostrich is a bird, kiwi is a bird. You are what you are doing, you are classifying this into the category called birds. But what is the property of bird? All birds can fly, right? Birds will fly, sorry, fly, not fry, fly, I'm sorry, fly. All birds can fly, you know that. And you are categorizing, you are including these classes also, penguins, ostrich, kiwi birds. But these penguin is a bird only, but it cannot fly. Ostrich is a bird only, but it cannot fly. Kiwi is a bird only, but it cannot fly. So you cannot group all these birds into one category. Okay, you have to group in this way: birds which can fly, birds which cannot fly. Then only then only if you're relating related classes, then only you can exhibit a behavior. Otherwise you will exhibit some different fractional behavior of the system. Okay, I hope you understood. This is a simple example. See, in examination also you need to take this example. That examples is your wish. No need to draw all these diagrams. Just explain theoretically. Next, conceptual clustering. Let us see the conceptual clustering here. Here you need to take not property, not black wheels, white wheels, not at all a property. Here you need to take some concept, some description, or some knowledge. Here what I am taking, see here, circles will represent some toxic material. See here, bogies have circles, right? See here, bogies has some circles, right? So bogies with circles is representing they are carrying some toxic materials, and bogies with rectangle is carrying some different another materials, and other bogies with other shapes or or using um, or here, one second, one second, please wait. I'm sorry, please wait one second. Okay, circle represents some toxic material, rectangle represents some materials, other shapes represent they are carry that bogies are carrying passengers. Okay, now according to this you are classifying. See how you are classifying. You are taking some concept knowledge, not property like black and white wheels, not property like bogies, two or three bogies, not, you are not talking, not taking like that. See, classifying the trains according whether they are carrying the toxic materials or not. See what you're taking, whether they are carrying toxic materials or not. You have to group in that way. See, how can you say they are carrying toxic materials? What you have specified in requirements, circles represent toxic materials. Now, see here, see the diagram. Now all these trains are carrying toxic materials. You need to group all these trains: A, B, C, E, F, G, I. Okay. Next, trains that the, sorry, trains according to the passenger trains. That means you need to identify the trains that are carrying the passengers. You are grouping the trains which are carrying the passengers. How can you say they are carrying the passengers? Other, see, what are the requirements we have specified? See the requirements, other shapes, other than circle and rectangle. Let us identify that other than circle, circle and rectangle. This one, other than circle and rectangle means this shape. This one, and this one. Okay. And then this one, these other shapes. This one. Okay, all these are carrying passengers. You need to group A, B, C, D, G, I into one category. I hope you understood. See, according to some concept here, you are grouping the classes. This is a simple example. Okay, see, you can easily classify these trains, but when coming to the complex system, it is not at all that much easy to for you to classify. It is really hard. But there is no perfect classification. Only two classification is possible, only three classification is possible, or only four classification is possible. No, there are no perfect answer. Okay, there may be many classifications. It depends upon the individual. You need lot of experience to do it, and you need as a software engineer, as a software developer, you should have a lot of experience to do this. and you need to have lot of knowledge to do these approaches. Okay. Okay, students, next only one thing this I will explain. Prototype theory. Next questions I will explain later. Prototype theory. See, when you are coming to this prototype theory, when means when you are unable to classify the classes according to property or according to some knowledge, if you are unable to identify those classes, okay, if you are unable to classify the classes according to some property or according to some knowledge, if you are not able to identify, then you can group in, then you can use prototype theory. For example, take games. You know that there are different games, but all games are not similar, right? They are different. They will have different rules, right? But based on some resemblance, your grouping. See here, for example, chess and tiny bulbs. See, while looking at these two, you will think this is also chess, right? But there is some resemblance. So if you can group these classes into family of resemblance, but remember that all these classes, remember that all these games are different. Chess rules are different, and tiny and bob's rules are different. Just something, there is resemblance. According to this resemblance, you are grouping that. Okay. See, let us another one. See, you need to explain with simple examples also. See, wrestling game and kabaddi game. Okay, but both are different, right? Okay, different rules, it exhibit different rules, but there is some resemblance. All are fighting, right? See here, there is some resemblance, right? See, according to this resemblance, you are what you are doing, you are grouping into family of resemblance. You are not grouping into some property, based on some property. You are not grouping based on some uh, concept. Okay, based on some family of resemblance, by seeing some resemblance, some little bit some similarities, but these are entirely different. Okay, I hope you understood. These are the classification approaches, general classification approaches. Okay, in next class I will discuss the remaining things. Okay, so unit 2 revision is completed. In next class, I will discuss some of the questions and some of the questions of unit 2, and then I will explain unit 3 revision. Just revision. Okay. Thank you so much, students.